All right, let's get right into it. Everyone says they want to be smarter, right? But how many are actually willing to push their brain to the absolute limit? That's what we're talking about today. We're going to break down this really intense 7-day challenge that's designed to do just that, to literally overclock your mind and build an intelligence that's forged, not just something you're born with. And this right here, this is the whole point. This isn't some passive watch and learn thing. No way. This is a blueprint for a real, fundamental transformation. The next 7 days, they're all about pushing past your comfort zone, past all the distractions, and smashing through every single limit you thought your brain had. So, what's the big problem we're actually trying to fix here? Well, here's the thing. Most of us think we're thinking, but we're not. We're just reacting. You know? Every single notification, every random memory, every little emotional flicker, it's like a switch being flipped. Our mind isn't this sharp weapon we're in control of. It's more like a hostage, getting yanked around by everything happening inside and out. This challenge, it's all about breaking those chains.
Okay, so here's the game plan. It's a 4-part quest. First, observation, then immersion. After that, creation. And finally, we wrap it all up with integration. Each part builds right on top of the last one, taking you deeper and deeper. All right, let's kick things off with phase 1, the neural lock. Now, for the first 2 days, your only job is to watch your mind. That's it. You're not trying to control it, you're not trying to shut it up, you're just observing it. The whole goal here is to create a little bit of space between you and your brain's automatic programming.
So, how do you actually do this? It's simple, but not easy. For 2 full days, you're going to watch every single thought that pops into your head and slap a one-word label on it. Your mind says, ugh, I'm tired. You just label it body. I really want to check my phone right now. That's desire. There's no way I can do this. Label it fear. The key is you don't judge it, you don't fight it, you just label it and let it go. And you know what's so cool about this is how it completely flips the script on what intelligence even is. It's not about how many books you've read. It's about that little gap, that tiny bit of space between something happening and how you react to it. For most people, that space is 0. This whole exercise, it's designed to pry that gap wide open. Okay, so by the end of day 2, and you gotta stick with it, you're gonna feel something kind of strange, a kind of detachment. It might even feel a little cold at first. But that quietness isn't numbness, it's calibration. It's your brain learning, hey, I can see what's happening without having to immediately feel something about it.
All right, once you've found that stillness, we're going to light it on fire. Welcome to the cognitive overclock. This is where we shift gears big time, from just watching to intense active processing. Days 3 through 6, this is the boot camp. You're going to train your brain like a muscle, pushing it right past fatigue until it has no choice but to rebuild itself, way stronger than before. So here's your mission for days 3 and 4. I want you to pick one topic, something that genuinely intimidates you. And you're going to lock in for 2 90-minute deep dive sessions every day. And when you feel that mental burn, you know that voice that starts whispering, this is too hard, I can't do this? That is the moment you push harder. That feeling of resistance, that's the edge of your current intelligence. And the only way to expand it is to push right through it. But, and this is a big but, this kind of power has a cost. There's a trade-off. What you gain is incredible processing speed and efficiency, but what you might lose, at least for a bit, is some of your emotional warmth. You might feel a little numb, a bit detached from people. That's because your brain is literally rerouting power from your emotional circuits to pure calculation. And you absolutely have to be aware of this cost going in. Okay, now for days 5 and 6, we're flipping the switch from learning to creating. We're talking 2 3-hour blocks of just intense output. And when that wall of fatigue hits you, and it will, you don't stop. You repeat this mantra, this is where my old mind dies. And you just push for 5 more minutes, just 5. That tiny extra push, that's where you forge a completely new level of mental stamina. By the time you hit the end of day 6, you're going to notice something has fundamentally changed. You might be listening to a friend talk, and instead of just hearing their story, your mind is analyzing their speech patterns, their logic. It's become this incredibly powerful, precise analytical machine. It's an amazing state to be in, but it can also be a little cold. And that's our cue. It's time to bring it all back together. And that brings us to the last and maybe the toughest phase, integration. Think about it.
You've just spent 6 days forging this weapon in your head. Day 7 is all about cooling the metal, but doing it carefully so it doesn't crack. It's about reminding the supercomputer you just built that it's still human. The whole point here is to get grounded again. So day 7 starts with a very specific morning ritual. You're going to sit in silence for a bit, but this time, instead of labeling your thoughts, you're going to think them. It sounds a little weird, but it's a powerful way to reconnect logic and emotion. Then you're going to go walk outside and physically touch something real, a tree, a rock, whatever. That physical contact helps pull your mind back into your body. And the day ends with a really important reflection. You need to ask yourself these 3 questions and be brutally honest. What did I actually gain from the silence? What did I lose while I was chasing that focus? And the big one, which one do I want to keep? Look, a powerful mind without self-awareness is just a liability. This is where you get to decide what parts of this new you want to keep and what you need to dial back.
So you make it through the 7 days. What's the payoff? What's the result of all that work? Well, you've basically just rebuilt your mind from the ground up. You've forged a completely new kind of intelligence.
Here's what that new mind looks like. You can actually think without getting immediately hijacked by a reaction. You can feel your emotions without drowning in them. You can act decisively without all that hesitation. Your awareness is just sharper. The constant chatter in your head gets quieter. You are finally in the driver's seat, no longer a slave to every little thing that happens. And all of this leads to the final, most important takeaway. It's a declaration that puts things back in their proper order. You've built an incredibly powerful tool, and this is the moment you remind that tool who's in charge. From now on, your mind serves you, not the other way around.